9월 9일 9시 24분.
Chapter 3. The Goose with the Golden Eggs.
There once was a man who had a very fine goose.
Every
Every day
day
the goose laid a golden egg. The man soon became rich. But as he became rich, he became greedy. The goose must be gold inside, he thought to himself. I will open her and get all the gold at once. So he killed the goose, but he found no gold. The man cried and said, I should have been happy with golden egg each day. Sometimes greed makes people do foolish things.
The Bear and the Travelers.
One day, two men were traveling together. They suddenly came across a bear. One of the men climbed quickly into a tree and tried to hide himself among its branches. The other man fell down and lay on the ground. When the bear came up and smelled him all over, the man held his breath and pretended to he dead. The bear soon left him because, as many people say, a bear will not touch a dead body. When the bear had gone, a traveler in the tree came down to join his friend. As a little joke, he asked, What did the bear whisper in your ear? His friend answered very seriously. He told me never travel with a friend who runs away when danger comes. A true friend is with you in good times and bad times. There once was a young shepherd boy. He wanted his sheep at the bottom of a mountain. He was very lonely watching the sheep all day by himself. So one day he thought of a plan to have some fun. Have ran down toward the village calling out, Wolf, Wolf. The kind villagers came out to help him, and some of them stayed with him for a while. This made the boy very happy. He decided to try the trick again a few days later. Again he ran to the village shouting, Wolf, Wolf. Again the villagers came to help him, but they didn't see any wolves. But shortly after this, a wolf really did come out. Soon the wolf began to bother the sheep. The boy again cried out even louder than before, Wolf, Wolf, but the villagers had been tricked twice before. They thought the boy was fooling them again because none of them went to help the boy. The wolf ate all his sheep. No one believes a liar even when they tell the truth. A farmer's daughter was carrying a pail of milk. I can make some money from selling this milk, he thought. That money will be enough to buy at least 300 eggs. The eggs will produce about 250 chickens. When the chickens grow, I will sell them in the market. After selling the chickens, I will have enough money to buy a new dress.
I will wear this beautiful
I wear this beautiful new dress to Paris. Then all the best young men will ask me to marry them, but I will refuse at all. But I will refuse all the men and just enjoy the Paris. The young woman was enjoying her thoughts so much she didn't see a stone on the road. Suddenly her foot hit the stone and she fell. He dropped the pail of milk. The milk disappeared into the ground, taking away all of her plans. Do not count your chickens before they are hatched.
Boys and the frogs.
One day, a
Boys were playing
group of boys were playing by the side of a small lake. Some of the boys threw stones into the water for fun. A lot of frogs lived in this little lake, and they kept getting hit by the stones the boys threw. Finally, a wise old frog put his head up out of the water and said, "Boys, please don't throw stones at us."
We are only
"We are only
playing.
playing," said the boys.
I know that, said the frog.
"I know that," said the frog, "but your stones hurt us.
You
You
may
may throw stones for fun, but your fun causes us great pain. One person's pleasure may be another's pain."
A miser sold most of his land to buy a shiny piece of gold.
A miser sold most of his land to buy a shiny piece of gold. He burned the gold in the ground by an old wall and went to look at it every day. One day, one of these workers saw the miser going to the wall and followed him. Soon the worker discovered the secret of the hidden treasure. When the miser was gone, he dug up the gold and stole it. The next day, the miser found that his gold had been stolen. The miser cried and cried in anger and shed. A neighbor saw a miser crying. He found out what was wrong. He said, "Please don't cry so much. You should go and get a stone growing in the ground and pretend the stone is the piece of gold. I will be just the same as when the gold was there, because you never did anything with the gold when you had it. The true value of money is not having it, but using it wisely."
Chapter 4. The Ants and the Grasshopper.
The ant and the grasshopper lived in the same big field. The ant always worked hard and tried to prepare and harvest enough food for winter. Their happy neighbor, the grasshopper, couldn't understand that. He just ignored them and kept singing. When the first forest came, it ended the worker of the ant and the party of the grasshopper. One winter day, the ants were buzzing spreading their grain in the sun today. Dry to dry. The grasshopper was nearly dying with hunger, so he went to the ant to ask for some food. Good day to you, kind neighbor, said the grasshopper. Won't you lend me a little food? I will certainly repay you before this time next year. Why don't you have any food of your own? asked an old ant. There was a lot of food in the big field all summer. What did you do? Oh, said the grasshopper, forgetting his hunger. I sang all day long and all night long. Well then, said the ant, if you can sing all summer, you should dance all winter. And the old ant went back to her work singing the ant song. We ants never borrow, we ants never lend. Don't forget to prepare for bad times even during good times. An ant was walking by the river one day and said to himself, how nice and cool this water looks. I must drink some of it. As he began to drink, his foot slipped and he fell in. Oh, somebody, please help me or I will die, cried the ant. A dove sitting in a tree over the river heard him and threw him a leaf. Climbed up on the leaf, said the dove, and you will fled to the riverside. The ant climbed up on a leaf, and the wind blew it to the shore, and it stepped up on dry land again. Thank you, kind dove, said the ant as he went home. You have saved my life, and I wish I could do something for you. Goodbye, said the dove. Be careful not to fall in again. A few days later, the dove was busy building her nest. The ant saw a hunter resting his gun to shoot her. The ant ran quickly and bit the man's foot very hard. He cried, oh, oh, and dropped his gun. This surprised the dove, and she flew away. After the hunter was gone, the dove came back to her nest. Thank you, my little friend, she said. You have saved my life. The little ant jumped for joy because he had been able to help the kind dove. One kind act brings another.
The Frog and the Ox.
One day an ox was walking in a wet field. He accidentally put his foot on a family of young frogs and killed most of them. However, one escaped and ran off quickly to his mother. Oh, mother, he said while we were playing, a really big four-foot animal stepped on us. Big? Asked the old frog. How big? She sucked in air to make herself large and said, as big as this. Oh, said the little frog, much, much bigger than that. Well, was it this big? He sucked in even more air. Oh, mother, it was much bigger than that. So please stop sucking in air. You might hurt yourself. The, the mother frog didn't like her little one did about her abilities, so she tried again to become bigger. But this time, this tried so hard that her body exploded. Overconfidence in your abilities can lead to personal destruction. destruction.
The wind and the sun.
Long ago, the wind and the sun were talking to each other. They could not decide who was stronger than the other. To answer the question, they agreed to try something. Watching a passing traveler, they decided to see which of them could take off the man's coat first. The wind began to blow a cold and powerful wind. But the stronger the wind blew, the tighter the man held on to his coat. Next, it was the sun's turn. Coming out of behind the clouds, the sun shone its warm, comfortable light down on the traveler. The traveler felt and gentle warmth on his shoulders. Finally, he sat down and took off his coat. It was clear that the sun had won. Kindness can be stronger than harshness. When the side of a river grew a tall oak tree, it stood with its roots firmly in the ground, and its head high in the air, and said to itself, "How strong I am! Nothing can make me bow. I am taller and stronger than all, all the other trees." But one day there was a storm. The strong wind came and struck the proud oak. The tree fell into the river. As the water carried it away, it passed by a thin reed that grew on the river side. The little stooped up tall and looked at the poor brook tree. "Hello, reed," said the tree. Why didn't you break when the wind came? You are so little and weak." "Oh, poor tree," said the reed, "I bent and moved until the wind had passed. I must go where it is sent, but it will not hurt those who are not proud. Sometimes you have to bend low to suck it." Once upon a time, a man went to a forest. He asked the trees if they would give him some wood to make a handle for his axe. The trees thought he was very little to ask, and they gave him a good piece of hard wood. But as soon as the man fit the handle to his axe, he started to cut down all the best trees in the forest. As they crashed painfully to the ground, the trees said sadly to each other, "We suffer because of our foolishness." Only a fool would give their enemy the tools to destroy them.
The rose and the amaranth. A rose and an amaranth blossomed
A rose and an amaranth blossomed side by side in a garden one nice summer day. The amaranth said to its neighbor, I envy your beauty and your sweet smell.